572-0383 and 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Hello there, good morning, good afternoon, good night to our listeners and to our viewers in St. Lucia and across the globe, especially those of you on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on X. Welcome to Hard Drive for today, Wednesday, the 21st of May. My name is Andre Paul, the co-host of the show, none other than the lovely Keena. Keena, good morning.
Good morning, Andre. How are you doing?
A little nasal.
Yeah, I could hear. I wonder what's happening, though.
I think there's something in the air.
I think there's something in the air.
I think Tony has a worst case.
Yeah, he has a worst case of whatever it is.
Of nasality.
Hey, Tony Paul, how are you doing? Hope you're feeling a lot better. Sending you love and sending you kisses as well. Mwah.
Mm-hmm. So none for me.
Okay, Andre, kisses.
Because remember, I'm nasal.
You got my kisses? Did you feel better?
Yes, I did. Yes. Yeah. Triple frontier.
You are serious.
Okay. We had a visitor a while ago there.
Anthony.
Yeah, he's one of the winners for the Mother's Day promotion.
Yes.
And he collected his prizes.
Yeah, he
did. That's for accountability and transparency.
So yeah, he came by and collected his prize.
So yeah, cool. I said to him, "Did you get all your prizes?" He confirmed, yes.
Yes, he did.
Okay, so all the other qualifiers / winners, they're going to be collecting their prizes hopefully today as well. And folks, we're planning for the Father's Day promotion. That's coming up, I think, the week of the 9th, I believe,
or
somewhere
around. The
around
9th, yes.
Yeah, the week of the 9th. Yeah, because the Monday is actually a holiday.
A holiday, so it will be the Tuesday.
Yeah, from the Tuesday up until the Friday. So we're getting set for that. And the criteria, same thing again. We're going to be asking you to call us and tell us something that your father said to you, which has had this impact on your life. And which you carry with you up to now, and you even pass it on to your children
or people around you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The problem with the children is that when I speak from personal experience, we don't get it. We don't get it at the time.
We don't get it at the time.
Yeah, we don't get it at the time at all. What fool? I said to my grandmother, "What papi are you telling me there? Where you get that from?"
It's usually like that. We don't get it right away.
Yes.
And our parents try to drum it into our heads. I think that they actually do that with love, right? Because that's all they're about, love. And most of the times we don't understand because we're young. We want to do our own thing. We want to go out there, meet our friends, experience everything that there is to. You want to you want to grow up pretty quickly. Till reality hits you. It's like, what? No way. I want to go back to mommy.
Well, for me, Mama was right. Yeah, that's what I say. She was right. She was right. As a family, we talk about it all the time. We say, remember, Mama used to tell us such and such a thing.
Such a thing, right?
Yeah. So the same will apply for the fathers when we have our Father's Day promotion. All right. Okay, good. Let me just say the Tomaso bread place today. One of your favorites on the menu today, chicken pilau. Yeah, chicken pilau today.
Pilau is my favorite, actually.
By the way, Yaslin was in the city yesterday. She said to me, "Can I bring you a bouillon?"
Oh, nice.
Yes, so I said, "Of course, thank you very much." So I collected the bouillon. Man, that was knocking.
What does the grandmother say?
That was knocking. Pardon?
What was your grandmother say? It was finger licking. Not finger licking. What was she saying?
Finger cutting.
Finger cutting,
it was
right.
Finger cutting.
It was finger cutting good.
That's right. It was really good. It was really good.
It had tanya and the yam in there, the yellow yam, right?
No, the yellow yam wasn't there. She couldn't find out, but the tanya was there for sure.
Oh my gosh, it was backs.
It was
right?
good. It was in the backs. She cooks so well.
Yes, she does.
She
the pilau
so
was
well.
really delicious that day. When she
okay.
It,
so big up to you. I'm Yaslin at the Tomaso bread place. So today's going to be chicken pilau. And of course, the usual sea moss flavors, including coconut, ginger, peanut, and peanut punch. By the way, I asked her which is the favorite sea moss of all. She said the people like the peanut.
Oh.
That's their favorite. Yeah. And of course, you have the regular sea moss with flaxseed and chia seeds. All happening at Tomaso bread place today. Chicken pilau. Now, before I forget, I don't want to forget. I think I forgot yesterday. A heartfelt plea for help for Cecile Benjamin. Cecile recently underwent life-saving surgery to have a pacemaker implanted in Martinique, and now she needs continued care and treatment to protect her life and health. Okay, How can you help? Donations can be made to her account at the Labrie Credit Union on Bridge Street, Castries, account number 56619. That's account number 56619 under the name Cecile Benjamin. Again, account number 56619 at the Labrie Credit Union on Bridge Street, Castries. Let's hope that Cecile gets the help that she badly needs. All right. I know what it's like to be in that kind of position. People like me, maybe I'm a little more fortunate that at least I am able financially to steer my ship kind of thing. But I know there are many people who are not in a position to do that. So when these people reach out to me, I usually try to see what I can do. And if it's the little I can do, which is to make the announcement, it's my pleasure to do that.
And I really do hope our listeners are able to, those who can give and support Cecile's cause, they would do a donation at the credit union, Labrie Credit Union. And we have to take into consideration because we never know what changes in our lives. 1 minute you're pretty much healthy and the next you're not. And like we said yesterday and many times before, that when you are diagnosed with any medical condition, it takes a toll on you emotionally, physically, and mentally. Financially, it is very, very draining. So for saying maybe family members at the time supported and gave so much, but it becomes a strain on anyone, especially with a pacemaker, because you need continued care and medications. And over a period of time, the medications do get expensive. So any help that you can provide, please do.
Yes, once you can.
That'd be great.
Once you can assist. And I just got another announcement here. An urgent blood donation appeal for Chloe Alfred. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Chloe.
Chloe.
Yeah, Chloe Alfred. We kindly urge everyone to come forward and donate blood in aid of Chloe Alfred. Every donation makes a difference and will be deeply appreciated. As the token of gratitude, AdMac Limited is offering complimentary cheeses. Yes, to all donors. So if you go give blood there for Chloe Alfred, you'll get some cheese. Okay?
Oh, the cheese lovers, definitely.
Yeah, so thanks for your generosity and support. That's a blood donation appeal to in the person of Chloe Alfred. So please donate if you're
Did it say
able
where
to.
Chloe Alfred is? Is it in Castries or Fayetteville?
No, it doesn't say.
Okay.
It doesn't say.
Which hospital?
Yeah. The last time I went to donate blood for someone who I know, I was close to their sister. So when I heard about her condition, I went to give blood. I have issues. It's difficult finding my veins.
The same thing happens with me.
Gosh, man.
My vein always collapses every time.
I don't understand this
when
thing.
When we do get it, find it.
I know I have veins there somewhere. But they couldn't find it.
We are all different. And maybe you just one of the individuals where it's difficult to find a vein.
When I was at the hospital, that was a problem for the doctors.
And it can be very painful too.
Because they had to be slapping my arms.
Yes.
Slapping about 4 or 5 doctors trying to get blood. And it was an urgent situation.
Yes.
So boy, it was something else.
Yeah.
It was actually painful.
It is.
Yeah,
Girl,
it was actually irritating me.
It's irritating, and I know the pain that comes with it. And sometimes you get bruising and the blood oozes out after a little bit too. It's very bad. Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
Imagine it was so bad with me that they decided now they will have to get the blood from my side, Yeah. That was going to be painful.
That's a worst case actually.
Yeah, worst case scenario.
Or some individuals, they go just below the wrist area. It's easy to find it there as well.
Yeah. So I thank God they were able to figure it out. But when I went to donate blood the last time there, I couldn't find it. I just had to, forget it. But I made sure I took a pic. I said to the person, look, I tried.
At least you tried, and that's the good thing. I mean, if you are able to, and some individuals are donors. They go all the time.
Yes.
So I love it but I wish I could, but I can't. With my condition and everything, I really can't.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's your condition?
I don't want to talk about it right now.
But you just did.
No, I just said with my condition, I can't.
Exactly. So I don't know what you're talking about.
You want me to expound on it, or you just want to just whatever?
Why not?
Well, I have lupus. Yes. So that's pretty much what I have.
So tell us about lupus then.
Lupus is pretty much an autoimmune condition, Andre. It's your body fighting its own. And 1 minute you're okay, You could be pretty much thriving, doing everything, cleaning the house. Maybe you get up one day and you're doing okay, and in the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you're in extreme pain. And your body pretty much decides to attack itself whenever it wants.
So
It
what
can
is
affect-
it? What is it actually attacking then? What is it attacking?
Any part of your body could affect attack your joints, your skin, your organs, your eyes, anything at any given day.
So does the body decide when and where it's attacking?
No, when you're having a flare up, it does whatever it wants.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does somebody develop this condition?
I don't know. I used to be in extreme pain from a child. I was always crying, like I'm in pain. I can't do much. I remember it started with knee pain when I was a child, and my mom always used to take me to the doctor. And Dr. Martin DJ was my doctor at the time.
Right.
And when we found out that I had lupus, because you do not know, no one else in my family has lupus, so we do not know what caused it, where it came.
So you're the
what
only one in your
happened.
family
I'm
with
the
that
only one in
condition?
my family
Wow.
that has the condition. But
And you've had those symptoms since you were a child?
yeah, since I was a
So
child.
what age did you begin to realize something was wrong?
In high school.
Oh my.
In high school, and it was
Wow.
in my 20s actually that I was diagnosed. I was in the U.S. when I was diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's painful, right?
It's very debilitating. There are times where I really can't get out of bed. And if I'm home alone, I have to drag myself. Well, not anymore, but in the past, I would have to. Well, when you have conditions like that, you try to find ways to move around and, get used to it, especially when no one is around. So I would make sure I'll put maybe a stool, close to my bed as possible, and maybe have a little walking stick or something of that sort. So if I do need to get to the washroom, I will use it. But if you fall over, now that's the difficulty, because you can't get from point A to point B. So sometimes you may have to drag yourself from one point to another.
So someone like you can't really, or should not really be on your own.
No,
You always need to have somebody around you.
What I've done over the last couple of years is that you just really do not know when you're going to have a flare. It could be anything. It could be an environmental trigger, like maybe dust or a lot of pollen in the air. It could be something as mold. It could be maybe you're getting... For each person with lupus, their symptoms would differ, and what would trigger it would be different. So someone might look at me, and if they do see me or someone with lupus, and be like, "Oh, you were fine." And if you're saying, "Well, you know what, I have back pain or excruciating pain," it's debilitating, and a person is looking at you like, "What?" And even sometimes I'm on air and I'm in excruciating pain and I'm doing my toxins and
Yes.
nobody know. So it differs from person to person, and
Yeah.
it's an invisible illness pretty much. It's one of those that's classified as an invisible illness. It's kind of crazy because...
Yeah, and all these illnesses, I hear about stuff that I never heard of before. Alan Jackson, a famous country and western singer. I mean, I think almost every country and western enthusiast loves this guy. Alan Jackson has some serious medical issues. Okay, I don't remember exactly what the name is, but it's something I've never heard of before, right? And it's like a whole bunch of stuff. Now, sometimes it's the cause is a simple thing, Sometimes it's a simple thing. I'll just use my sister as an example. When my sister was a young girl, she suffered with sickle cell.
Oh.
Right? She had sickles and she's like full blown. So anytime you see she gets these attacks, my sister would
wow.
just freeze, and I mean, we would get so scared, it looked like she was just going to die. Right? That's how it was really,
really bad.
really bad. And I think my sister at some point was talking to some Rasta guy. Not anything. I mean, I think it's just talk. And the guy kind of encouraged her to go on a vegetarian diet. And she did. Yeah, my sister actually, I mean, Dawn was really extreme. She was really, really extreme. If, for example, you have a ladle and say you pick up, my grandmother would be cooking the food, and a little of the gravy from the chicken would go into her peas, because she ate a lot of red beans. She'd get really upset because she doesn't want to eat the meat anymore.
Okay.
And ever since my sister went on that diet, she never had an attack after that.
I've tried doing the vegetarian diet, and it doesn't really work with me. So sometimes I have to go back. The only thing that for now, the problem that I am now is sometimes you go and you get the injections. You have the injections, and they cause me to put so much weight. Yeah, so there are times where
So the injections are for what? Was that?
it's injections to control my lupus.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So sometimes when I get them, depending, it for everyone is different. For some individuals, they're a lot skinnier. For others, their weight fluctuates. My weight fluctuates, and there's really and truly nothing I can do.
But
about
the
it.
issue of the meat, it doesn't have to be chicken or red meat. You could eat fish. Just try
Yeah,
that.
I eat fish.
That's what I'm
I eat
saying.
fish.
That's what, when you said you tried the vegetarian thing, I'm saying you can have flesh but have fish.
I do. So now I have mostly fish.
Yeah.
Mostly fish and my
And-
veggies. I stay away from rice and pastas and sweets. And I have a thing for sweets. You know that.
Yes,
So
yes.
I do stay away from sweets and everything else like that.
Even-
oils and butters and so on.
I suffer with eczema. Now I'm very, very sensitive with my body. I'm always checking things to see what is it I did today that caused such and such a thing, right? So in my case, the eczema, my one of my favorite nuts, right, is the nuts you get there from the dairy so gap there. I love this thing.
I remember you said.
I love it, the cashew nuts. I love it. But I notice now when I eat it, my eczema begins to flare up. And it was flaring up so much that it ended up on my chest, my back, and my face.
Oh wow.
So I said, but what is it I'm eating that's different now that I'm getting this flare up? So I said, oh, okay, let me just eliminate the nuts.
The nuts, and it helped.
Yes, it went back down.
Oh,
So sometimes
wow.
it's something in these ailments. It's something that maybe we are putting into our bodies that just don't not supposed to be there. So we have to be sensitive. When I say
We have to
sensitive,
be
meaning
sensitive too.
what did I do? What did I eat? What did I not eat? You know, the kind of thing today that would have caused that flare up. Very important.
I also take notes daily where I do not. When I say I don't go out, that's one of the reasons, because I never know what environment I might be in that can cause a flare. So for me, it's just work and home.
And,
Supermarket visits are not that many. My brother or friend and I maybe do get barrels in, so I do not have to go to the supermarket constantly if I need something. Well, doctor's visits are very, very frequent, but anything other than that,
Wow.
you wouldn't find me in a crowded place. No, because I never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Because someone might have a cold, and I get that cold, and
Yes, yes.
I could be someone it's extremely dusty, so I'm very, very mindful of where I go.
Well, let's spare thought for all the people in the universe going through all these challenges. We all have them. Nobody is exempt.
Nobody's exempt.
It's just that
from
we
any
just
condition.
hide those things. We
We
don't
hide
say
it.
we're going through this and that. No, it doesn't matter who it is. We all going through something, all right? And if it doesn't happen to you in your younger years, it's going to happen to you in the older years.
It's going to happen at some
Oh,
point.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we
Nobody
need to be
escapes.
mindful and very sensitive to individuals going through that. You might not know that a friend or family member has any medical condition, but if the person says to you once, I'm having some pain, my back, another time you hear they say the same thing, I'm having pain again, or headaches or so on, something might be wrong. Don't just push it off like you just pretending, because you never know. If the person really says, I really can't get from point A to point B, and though some people might be sensitive in the beginning, after a while for them it becomes the norm, like, oh, you're always sick, so they could do whatever they want. Thankfully, I've never had to experience that with my friends and family. In work environments, I have experienced such where you have individuals. Just one place that I was working, my colleagues laughed a lot. So they were like, oh my gosh, she's always sick. So they would gossip and talk about it or so on. It's just one experience I had. But generally, no, I haven't. Yeah. And some people can be very insensitive to individuals that are sick, and they have a tendency to take advantage of individuals that are going through that has a medical condition, because they see it as an opportunity to get what they want.
So Alan Jackson has, I can't even pronounce that. I'll have to check that out. It's spelled CHARCOT. I'm assuming it's Charcot. I'm not sure.
CHARCOT.
Charcot Marie Tooth Disease, or CMT. CHARCOT, like Charcot. Charcot Marie, MARIE TWTH disease. It's a genetic neurological disorder
Charcot.
affecting nerves and muscles Alan Jackson has been battling this disease for over a decade, experiencing difficulties with balance and movement, particularly affecting his ability to perform. So Alan Jackson shared his diagnosis publicly in 2021 on the Today Show, revealing that he inherited the condition from his father. I'd never heard of this before.
I've never heard. That's my first time.
So you know what that means? Pretty soon Alan Jackson will not be making public appearances.
After a while, yeah.
Yeah. No shows.
Yeah, after a while.
Because it's affecting his balance and movement. Wow, wow.
Yeah.
I tell you, everybody, we all have something.
And for those who may think that everything is okay with them, kudos to you. Nothing is happening with you. You could move around, enjoy life as it is, go in the sun and do everything. You know, there are times, Andre, I crave
Sweets?
to know. In the past, I would cry because I wanted to go in the sun. Because I see people go in the sun all the time, and especially going to the beach. As a child younger, I would go to the beach with my friends, and then all of a sudden I realized, but every time I go in the sun, I'm in extreme pain. Let me tell you, I'll be bubbly one time, just 2 minutes in the sun. I am in excruciating pain, and I'm down for days. Just pain. And that's something I really, I sometimes pray and say, God, if you could just allow me to just be in the sun for just 5 minutes. And I think that's working a little bit so far. Yeah. No, it actually, sometimes you pray and you ask God for things for a very, very long time, and it doesn't happen, and you continue praying, and then at some point in time, I would say that it was for my 44th birthday. I remember praying so much, and I remember just Prophet Sean. There was something that he was doing at the time, and I remember walking from one point to another, thinking that, oh my gosh, after all of this I'm doing, I'm going to be in extreme pain the following day, and I was not in pain for weeks. So what would have happened before never happened again. Yeah.
And the issue of praying and asking God for certain things, I know from the Bible that some of his greatest servants, people like Abraham, Isaac, Jacob as well, they went through some rough times, man. Especially Jacob. Jacob had a daughter who was raped. Okay? He had sons who were really, really, really bad boys. These guys were involved in kidnapping, murder.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
I one time Jacob said to them, "You're making my name stink." That's how bad it was. His daughter Dinah, his only daughter, that girl was raped. Right? They had it really, really, really rough. When Jacob met the Pharaoh in Egypt, the Pharaoh said to him, "How old are you?" Because he looked like he had a rough life, And then you have Abraham asking for a child for years. How many years? Probably about 20 years or something like that.
Right.
I think Isaac, his son, was same thing. I think his wife was barren. He kept asking. These things took a long time. And now when we pray today, and God doesn't respond when we think he should respond, we get frustrated. That's Papi show. That doesn't make any sense.
But you know what I've learned as well? To remain positive no matter what. And because when it doesn't happen right, when you pray, let's just say you pray to God and be like, God, I really want this to happen. Then it begins to take a toll because you realize it's not happening. Why am I praying? I'm praying to an invisible God. I'm not seeing him. Nothing is happening.
Yes.
And it wasn't until I was somewhere and a pastor was preaching. I think it was Prophet Sean at the time. And he said, sometimes, you know what? Things doesn't happen when you ask for it. It takes time. Sometimes you have to either build your resistance and deal with what's happening in your life at the time. And that's where the strength comes in. You have to kind of go deep and dig deep, and sometimes you have to actually forgive yourself for going through what it is that you're going through, because you get to points where, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this and all of that? And you begin to it's like almost crippling, because you're already going through your situation and you're asking yourself, why me, why me? And then sometimes it gets, for everyone it's different. And I would say that when I begin to say to myself, why not you? Maybe there's something that you could learn from it. How about just letting go? How about just enjoying what's really around you? You at home, what can you do at home? Sleep more, maybe read a book or something. And I got to the point where I became less jealous, if I should say, of wanting to be out there like everyone else, wanting to go in the sun and wanting to go somewhere and have fun just like everyone else, and just be content with where I am and find ways to just enjoy being at home. And that's where, my love for dogs came in, and my love for, gardening came in, because there are other ways, you could go around with doing certain things.
No doubt your significant other has to be very understanding.
Very understanding, and family members and friends as well. So all my friends, all my family members know, those that I'm closest to, and they have been supportive.
So how would you pronounce that condition, the one Alan Jackson has? The Charcot or whatever.
Charcot, Marie.
I'll check it out after I get off the air.
We could check it out after.
Yeah, I heard that he had a condition, and I'm checking it out there. I've never heard of that before. There's so many, all kinds of conditions out there. So we're living in a fallen world where everything just most times goes awry.
Yes.
Okay. And I can look at me the other day. What happened? My vehicle was parked there, relatively safe place, and so on. And somebody decided they're gonna be playing the fool, right? So you get a disappointment. So I'm not the only one.
Andre, when bad things happen to good people?
Well, I don't know about it being good people, because I don't think anybody's good. I think we all bad. That's my.
Well, in the sense that we're all bad because we all make mistakes based on what the Bible says. But there are people who actually generally are good people, in the sense where they practice what the Bible says all the time. And bad things do happen to them nonetheless, and you wonder, but whoa, what's going on? Yeah.
There was a story Jesus Christ gave of a tower that fell on, I think, about 40 something people. And in those days that was like a big deal for a tower to fall and kill so many people in one fell swoop. And the Jesus Christ was preaching, and these people came and said to him, Master, what did these people do that was so bad that they had to die like that? Because that's how we generally think. The minute something bad happens to somebody, people think it is something that you did.
You did.
But Jesus Christ said to them, no, they didn't do anything that would have brought that upon them. He said there's a lesson in that. The lesson is that you better be careful that it doesn't happen to you. Yeah. You better be careful that you got your house in order. That because you could go at any time. You just don't know. You don't know.
When
you don't know.
To
So learn the lesson. And then we're judging people and things, and saying, it's bad things they're doing. Not necessarily. Sometimes it is. Don't misunderstand
it is,
me.
But not all the time.
Look at the issue of people who are blind, people who are deaf, right? People who whatever. And imagine God said, "I made them all."
Yes,
I made them all.
Made them all.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And so many things that we take for granted, though. Because someone who has lost their eyesight is wishing that, hey, they could see. And you have it, and you take it for granted. And you use your eyes to do things to someone else, to cause trouble and so on.
Exactly.
Someone who has lost a limb or was born without a limb, they would be wishing that they could have had that limb. And you have it, and you're using that hand to steal, So...
And the other thing there about we being good, Jesus Christ said, no one is good except God. Right? We have something called human nature, and our nature is to do bad. You look at a baby. From the time you see their little thing in the crib, they want to do bad things. They don't ever want to do something good. It's always something bad, and you have to come and stop them. Right? That's how it is. So that's why you see now we as parents have to make sure we steady in a certain direction. Our nature is primed, programmed, if you will, to do the bad thing. That's just the way we are. It's just that now we now need to have some self-control.
Self-control is
very
important.
Not listen to those urges that we have. And if we're honest with ourselves, we have to admit, we ain't playing nice. We're playing. The minute you see something bad happens, the first thing is the negative thought that comes into your mind.
The negative thought comes really quickly.
So nobody's
really
good.
Yes.
You see a little baby there, we say, oh, a little angel. No, there's no angel in that.
Only if babies could. Only if babies could talk, you'd wonder what's going through their minds.
Exactly.
Exactly. They might not be able to say anything now.
Yeah.
But only if they could.
They'll tell you what they saw mommy and daddy doing.
Yeah, and a lot of children now, just to add to that, are exposed to that very early on.
No, tell me about
because parents feel like, you know what?
They don't understand.
They don't understand, but why would you be putting your daughter or your son through that, thinking that, okay, well, they don't understand very early in their lives too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to mention before we move on? There was a homicide apparently on Monday night.
Aso Canal area.
Well, White Rock.
White Rock?
White Rock, Aso Canal, I imagine. White Rock Grand Riviere, a 26-year-old. He was shot and killed along with another man who was injured. As to whether the intent was to take both of them, we don't know.
Don't know.
Maybe the guy just happened to be in the area there, and as a result,
Stray bullet or something.
yeah, maybe who knows? Who knows? But we don't have much information on this one. I mean, we're hearing those stories so often. So often. I'm just afraid that we're just going to get used to it and just figure as though this is life. In Jamaica, contrast with Jamaica, the homicide statistics actually trending downward.
Which is a good thing.
Yes,
That is good.
Because they were
That's a good
saying
thing.
that last year around this time there were 439 homicides recorded, right? Around the same time.
Right.
But now it's 257. Now, is that something to feel proud about? Should we feel proud about those things?
Yeah, because it's going down. The murder rate is going down, which means something is working. And hopefully it continues to take a downward trend. Because how many murders did we have in St. Lucia? Like maybe 20 years ago.
20 years ago? Not that many.
Compared to now. Yeah. So clearly something is happening. Something has changed.
When I was a young boy, growing up, it was almost unheard of.
Yes. Something
it was
has
almost
changed.
unheard of. That was the only thing you probably hear, maybe a road accident, and that was like a big deal.
It was a big deal.
When somebody died in a road accident,
When somebody died in a road accident, it was a big
the
deal.
whole world, whole St. Lucia stopped.
Stops.
Yeah, but
And
these
people
homicide,
become very, very careful about where they're going, what they're doing. A lot has changed.
Yeah, when I left St. Lucia in 1980, whatever I left, 83, somewhere around there, right? And I came back. Well, before I left, the homicide rate was, I said, almost zero. It just wasn't happening. When I came back to St. Lucia, I began noticing these individuals who were involved in drugs and so on. Okay, I think people know who I'm talking about without mentioning names. And that's when I noticed now we started having all these homicides. So it seems there was some kind of relation with drugs and killing and so on. Yeah, because when I was in St. Lucia, the only thing that we had that was a big deal was marijuana. That was it.
Yeah,
But
that's
later
the only
on,
thing.
when I came back here,
And not many people were smoking at the time too. Not
exactly.
many individuals
Exactly.
were smoking. Not many individuals in our society were drinking as well.
well,
very
I'm not sure
few.
about that one.
Well, no. Compared to now, Andre, not.
Yeah.
No.
And last
we
night,
have a serious problem.
last night on the show, Doctor in the House, there was this internist. I don't think they meant to talk about it, but that came up last night.
What was that?
COPD,
Oh, it's
right?
a big thing now.
COPD, and that just basically just dominated the conversation last night.
conversation.
The callers were talking about COPD, and I learned a few things. One of the things I learned is that apparently those people, well, okay, people, if you smoke, right, you smoke cigarettes or what they call the nicotine, you use nicotine, you at great risk of developing COPD,
yeah.
right? And imagine the cigarette comes with a filter. At the top of the cigarette, there's a filter that's there. And I was told part of the program that I think somebody said the people actually remove the filter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just to get the full effect of the nicotine. They actually remove the filter. Now, it doesn't mean it filters everything, because you still have a lot of bad stuff that's in there. So that came up, and also I was asking, is it only once you're smoking that's it, right? No matter what is the marijuana, what is the nicotine, and what I was told is that even with the marijuana, if you smoke in the marijuana, that you will develop COPD a lot later than the person who smokes the nicotine. Do you understand what I just said there? So even if you smoke marijuana, you're not exempt from COPD. And the internist said, what's even worse is the fact that there are people who smoke marijuana and they mix it with the nicotine.
Ouch.
And
That's a bad combination, isn't it?
I was asking why would they want to mix it? And I was told that apparently when you smoke the marijuana by itself, it makes you cough a lot. So to help now deal with the cough, they mix it with the nicotine so that you don't get that cough.
Okay, so I wonder, did he even say, okay, if someone were to stop smoking today, would their lungs begin to heal?
No,
somewhat?
sometimes it's so damaged.
It can't.
Yeah, it can't come back. Yeah, it's irreversible.
Okay.
She was trying to explain the tube. I think she said there are pipes in the lungs, and that's what gets damaged. And obviously, you can't breathe properly. So you're very uncomfortable.
No, but I know someone that smokes every single day, like has been for a number of years, and we don't really when you're doing something and it has become addictive, it's part of you. When you develop the condition, COPD or any other medical condition, from that habit that has been an addiction of yours for a number of years, the people that have to go through that aspect when you take that downward spiral are your family members. Your family members. They were not the ones going to buy the cigarettes. They were not the ones going to buy the marijuana. But yet still, taking care of you would weigh heavily on them. So what you had pleasure in doing for 20, 30 years, when it finally hits, and you begin to that downward spiral, it's your family that have to use their money to care for you.
Yes.
And you were out there just smoking up a storm.
Yes.
And the warnings came many times. And from what I understand, COPD is a very painful condition.
Oh yes, from what they were describing it. In fact, Anthony, who was here earlier this morning, he said he has siblings who had the disease. I think he mentioned about 3 of them. Yeah. So he was saying that he's learned from the experience of his siblings, and he's not going down that road.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one thing to get a condition where, okay, it just happens out of the blue, like cancer, and you see the financial toll it takes on family and friends and the pain it brings. It's another thing to know you actually deliberately, your free will, your decision, decide, I am going to continuously smoke every single day. That's what I want to do, or any other thing that you know that is harmful to your body. And then 20 years later, 40 years later, you now in a position where you do not have a medical plan. You don't have money saved. You don't have money saved for your burial. You take that downward spiral, and who's taking care of you?
That's right, family. Or the girlfriend.
Or girlfriend.
Or the wife.
And
or
they
whoever.
were not the ones
or
doing
the
it
children.
in the first place.
And
don't put people things for that. I don't think it's something that if the individuals doing it really sat and thought about, I know it's an addiction and it might be difficult, and maybe some individuals are actually trying, but think about it here. You know, that money that you're using to go and spend on cigarettes, maybe 2 packs a day. Think about how much money you could save. And think about your children's future. Think about your son or your daughter that may be about 5, 6, 7 years old, not having a father or mother around because you decided to be selfish by smoking every single day, not thinking that, you know what, at some point in time, this is going to happen to me and I'm not going to be around for my son or daughter. Yeah, you could get involved in an accident, but the chances are, kind of slim.
And there's something we hardly talk about. Apart from the fact that you bring a lot of pain and financial strain on your family, you have mothers now or fathers whose intent was for you to bury them, and then now they have, after seeing you going through all that pain and suffering, then now they have to bury you, and the pain that they go through after they bury you is unbearable. I know some people who are going through exactly what I'm talking about there. I know them personally. They talk about it all the time. They say, I miss him. I miss him. Right? But it's, when you think of it, it's kind of selfish.
Yeah, it is selfish.
You're thinking of yourself.
It is
and
very
what is comfortable for you, and you're not thinking of the long-term effects of your actions.
Your actions, yes. I think it's also a very selfish thing to
do. It takes a toll on the purses of taxpayers, because you can't afford it, so now you have to go to the hospital. Somebody has to pay for that tank.
For it. And to add that as well, there are some individuals that, have the addictions, and sometimes they don't have the money to buy maybe packs of cigarettes, and they go to a friend or a family member or find some way to get it, whether it be cigarettes or whatever addiction that they have that they need to sustain. And it's hurting it's not only hurting your wallet, you don't see it as that, but it's hurting someone else's wallet as well in that time too.
And all the pain from, this emotion, all the emotions the person goes through, having to see you, and it could have been avoided.
It could have
been
avoided,
really painful.
yes.
So back to Jamaica, they said that in 2024, Jamaica averaged about 22 murders a week. That's in 2024, but now it's down to about 13.
Not bad, actually.
So I guess something to feel.
And I love for St. Lucia to get back to the way it was as it relates to homicides and so on, and how we lived.
Well, that's almost impossible.
I really want us to get back to that time.
Well,
where we moved around freely. And that's
you.
Something where, violence spills over, because we're going to go to that, right? Yesterday on the Rev-Up Center, I actually focused on when violence spills over, because a few times before, it doesn't affect me. It's not my business. Oh, that's just in the ghetto. That ain't gonna happen to me. But what happens? These same individuals would be on the same bus. They'll be at the supermarket. They might be walking next to you on Bridge Street or maybe somewhere in Grosley, and you do not know the person's background. These are the effects of violence going unchecked, or individuals not saying, well, this is happening in my community, and I'm really calling it out. If we were really calling out things that we saw and saying, this is what I saw, forget about, we have that time and time again, and it may be true, and it may be that, you go make a report and the police, write you out, as they say, the police squeal and say, well, that individual said this and so on. But think about the long-term effects there of what happens in our societies when certain things happen and we just figure, it's not my business.
Yeah, and Dr. Hilaire was our tourism and investment minister. He was talking about revelers for the carnival, right? Again, the usual reminders to be responsible, exercise due care and this sort of thing during the parade of the bands. He spoke about the behavior and to continue to try the best to have a healthy dietary lifestyle, this sort of thing. And we know what normally happens. So every year we have the carnival. We have to be reminding grown-ups to behave themselves. Now here they are, they're drinking black is white, right? Not realizing that the long-term consequences
of that.
Let me tell you something, okay? The reality is that, okay, we make a big deal about it. It's like a social thing. Alcohol is a drug.
It is a drug.
It is a drug.
It is a drug.
It affects your mental capacity to think clearly and rationally and so on.
Yes.
So it is a drug. We better wake up to that reality. And there's no way you're going to be using a drug over a period, especially if you're abusing it. If you're abusing it and think you're going to get away with it, you won't. And I want to stress that, if you're abusing it, and it's easy for somebody to abuse drugs, very easy.
It's very, very easy.
There's a thin line between moderation and abuse.
Yes.
Very thin line.
Very thin. And what I do not want to judge anyone that constantly drinks, because I don't. I made that decision earlier on, before I was even 12, to say, I'm not going to consume any alcohol. And I stuck to that, even in my adult years. So I can't really, when I see someone, I try to figure out why, especially when they're drunk, what got you to that point. And yes, it's true, someone might be going through a difficult time, and that's their way to cope, because they turn to a drug. Maybe it's smoking marijuana, smoking cigarettes, or consuming alcohol. And we see the downward spiral in our friends when they first start consuming alcohol. And for instance, you're out with your friend, right? The person has one drink. Okay, within 15 minutes, they want another drink. You, that friend, check on them. And it happens even in our society, where people, it's like water, pretty much. They just drink and backing that down like it's nothing. But they don't think of the consequences in the long run. What is going to happen to your body? And maybe it's already happening to their bodies and they're not really thinking of it. And again, the responsibility of taking care of you will fall back on your family member, boyfriend, girlfriend, children, mother, father, whoever it may be. It's the same thing as, and someone will say, okay, that's one thing, Keena. What about I might, maybe drinking might be my weakness. What about someone who constantly just goes behind the wheel and every time they're driving they're speeding? That's also something else. It's us being selfish. It's doing what we want to do at any given time that pleases us, and we've gotten used to it, and we don't care two woods about how it's going to affect us and everybody else in the long run.
Now, what about the role that we as radio announcers, DJs, and so on, the role that we play in encouraging the drinking of alcohol and smoking, well, not necessarily cigarettes, but the marijuana? Because, you know, lots of songs glorify the marijuana, lots of songs glorify alcohol,
Lots
right?
of songs glorify
During
a lot
the
of
carnival season, okay, you have a lot of fellas who are artists who are just glorifying the use of alcohol. They
yes.
glorify it. Now, I wonder about even me, my role in this thing, because sometimes I play these songs. Now for me, maybe the beat I like or something.
The beat or something.
And I think
yeah.
I kind of lull myself into thinking, well, it's not illegal, and I like the beat.
And everyone else is playing
You know,
it, and
and
so
I like the beat, and it's a popular song kind of thing.
So you have to.
So
give
we
them
have
what
to
they
ask
want.
ourselves now, moving forward, do we encourage that kind of thing? Because this is helping to destroy persons, destroy our society, and so on, and bring hurt and pain. And we should play our part, even if we figure, okay, somebody probably wouldn't listen to me because I didn't play that song. To take a stance and say, I'm not going to
play.
Now, related to that, the Vibes Cartel. Well, you have Vibes Cartel,
Yes.
and you have Kiprich now. They're in problems with the law.
Cartel and Cupridge.
They're in problems with the law. Vibes Cartel has a song that apparently he's using whatever lyrics and juxtaposing Jesus Christ next to
I remember.
female genitalia and whatever. Now, I think we spoke about that already as to what is going on in either Cartel or his writer's mind. To do, you know, and even him, and even if somebody writes a song like that for you, you're supposed to say, no, brother, I can't sing
go
that.
into the studio and
You know what I
record
mean?
it. No.
I can't record that. But
Yeah.
he doesn't seem to care, right? At least for now. Now, in Trinidad, they barred him from doing certain things. He's welcome to come to the country. He's welcome to perform. And even the defense minister was saying he can't tell people not to go to his show.
Go. It's your decision to make,
But
yes.
he said he has a right to, a responsibility to protect the nation's youth.
I agree.
So I know you're a person, you keep informed with these young artists and so on. I'm just curious to know, because they told him you can't speak to the youth. Okay? Let me ask you, what is it that Cartel talks about when he talks to those young people?
When he does go and he has conversations with young people, he actually stirs them away from crime, the life of crime and violence and so on. Pretty much that's what he does. He doesn't, that's what he would do. He does all the time.
So why are they taking that stance against him?
Because
Imagine, hold on a
No.
second. Imagine, he was supposed to do an interview. They said to him, you can go ahead and do the interview. Because initially they said no. They said you can go ahead and do the interview, but not at the time when children are at home. When the children are at school, you can have the interview.
No,
That's
but-
how much they don't trust him.
I believe artists have a social responsibility to our youth. And you have a platform and you have a responsibility to use that platform wisely. Because, again, not every child or individual is the same. One child might listen to a song and it glorifies gun violence and not do anything. I'll be like, okay, you know what? Mommy and daddy said I shouldn't, and they should not play it. And another child would listen to that song and actually go and do the things that song says. And even as adults, we do as well.
Exactly,
You know?
exactly.
So the songs that are put out there, it imprints on our minds.
You know, just hold your
And-
thought for a second. Hold your thought. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and the person was telling me how certain songs, and they're quite aware of it, they said certain songs make them feel horny. Okay?
Okay.
The person actually said that to me. A female said the songs make her feel horny. So there's no doubt that music is a powerful,
Yeah,
powerful
it's a
thing.
powerful tool, and they
Okay?
should use it wisely. And even us as radio announcers as well, we should be very, very mindful. But again, if we go back in time,
So back to
there was-
Cartel. Back
yeah,
to Cartel.
Back to
What is he? You sure that's what he talks about?
Yeah.
Steering a life away from God.
yeah.
But how could he? How could he talk about that when he was involved in crime? He was the leader of a gang.
He was a leader of the gang, but again,
He
you
was
hear
involved.
this all the
he
time,
was, hold
Andre,
on,
that
hold on. He was involved in the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. He was
I'm
involved.
aware of that.
Right. So
I do
how
not
could
know what he was doing before because I'm not one to follow Vibes Cartel, never have. So that's that. But I started actually following more after his incarceration. And when he was released from prison, everything seems to be on a positive front for him, wanting change. But even with him releasing that song recently, and I'm asking myself, what's really, really going on? So the stance that the government of Trinidad took, I applaud them for it. And I also applaud Vibes Cartel for agreeing with the stance that the government took as well.
So let me ask you a question now. Do you think if Cartel was coming to St. Lucia, our government would be so inclined
to
do what the Trinidad and Tobago government is now doing against Cartel? Do you think we would really care what he says, doesn't say, right? Who he talks to, don't talk to? Now give him that, huh? Give Cartel that. Cartel wants to go almost like a similar situation to go see the boys training center. Go talk to the boys.
Go talk to the boys.
Give him that.
Yeah.
Give him that, because a lot of artists say, especially these people come for the jazz festival. I don't hear these people come in and talk to anybody at any except for young brother. Young brother.
Young brother, yes.
Right.
He did.
Yeah. So what is it? There's something that he was talking about that the Trinidad and Tobago authorities don't feel comfortable with, and I was just saying whether if it were he would to come to St. Lucia, whether we take a similar stance. What do you think? Let me go first.
I do think that we should take a similar stance.
Let me go first. If Cartel was coming to St. Lucia, we wouldn't care.
I don't. And not only that, too, Andre. I'll add to what you're saying. I think a lot of people would chime in, and some would be in agreement with it, and others would be like, "So what? Well, we have that song and this song, and the choice should be, the youth." No, but they will find the songs nonetheless online. It is on YouTube.
If Cartel were to be at a show, and he's singing song that's related to genitalia and comparing that to Jesus Christ, let me tell you, our people would be wailing over that. When I say wailing in a positive manner. Oh, yes.
Look at the songs that are out there. And when you do go out, and what songs are people dancing and whining to when you really hear them? Right? Not the really groovy songs like Cocoa Tea or something of that sort. When they go crazy, the other ones. Depending, I think it depends as to the fete that you go to, so to speak. So
it's a fete where Cartel is the headliner.
I'll hope that he'll choose his more positive songs this time around. I'll hope after everything that is going on in Trinidad.
But I want us to talk about it.
That when he does take the stage.
I notice you shift in. I'm saying, if he were to be performing those songs in St. Lucia, would we take that same stance? And I'm telling you, we wouldn't.
I think a few years ago, was it 2 years ago, I think one of the ministers did come out and say that we need to put a stop to, I can't remember who it was, but one of the ministers did speak out against songs with songs with vulgarity in it. I can't remember who it was.
Because it never happened.
It did. No. It did happen. It did happen. I can't remember what year. It might have been 2022, but one of them did speak on it. I can't remember who was scheduled to visit St. Lucia when that statement was made, but something along that.
Do you see how our young ladies are obeying these artists? When the artist says whatever, they come there, they do exactly what the artist is saying to do, and they feel no way about it. And then you have people now who are praising that. We're praising that. I'm telling you, if Cartel were to be coming to St. Lucia, he can sing whatever he wants. We have no problem with it. So I am not knocking the people in Trinidad and Tobago. They're taking a stand.
Yeah, I love what they're doing.
We have to say that. Also, Kiprich, he's got some problems. He sang some song. Now, hear that. Exactly what I said earlier. Somebody wrote the song for Kiprich. Okay, the song is called Stay Far Freestyle, and it glorifies gangs. Okay, that's what it does, especially glorifying the leader of a notorious gang in Jamaica.
Why would you sing that?
I'll get into that. It was glorifying the leader of a particular gang, that guy got involved in a shootout with Jamaica police, and he was killed. Okay, his name is there. I don't remember exactly what his name is. Right. So somebody wrote that song for Kiprich. That's what he said. And he was singing the thing. And the police got wind to this thing, and they came after him, and they arrested him. They actually charged him for singing that song. So he said, well, somebody wrote the song for me. I sang it. I didn't do it with any ill ill will.
No, but he has to understand that music is expression, right? And it reflects realities. Yeah, I get that. But when those realities celebrate or encourage harmful behavior, especially violence and crime, that's where it becomes dangerous. And he should have made the decision after getting the lyrics of the song to say, you know what, I'm not going to record that because I'm glorifying that behavior.
Exactly.
He should have made the decision then.
So it's the same thing for Vibes Cartel and all of them. Somebody writes a song like that.
You should make the decision then.
But
because you have the responsibility.
But let's take it a step further.
You have the platform.
Let's take it a step further. You have now, especially women who are singing certain songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether the song is talking about toothpaste, right? They have to put something sexy on them. They have to be winding down and this kind of thing. You look at the videos. And I was saying, and Tony was here one time, and I said, but why do they feel they need to do that? You look at Beyonce. Ordinarily, Beyonce is a well-respected lady, you know. Beyonce ain't on any kind of old vibe or anything. But once she goes on stage, Beyonce becomes Sasha Fierce.
Yes, that's a whole different ball game.
A whole different ball game. And I was saying to Tony, but why do they think they need to do that? And Tony said, he's right. Sex sells.
Sex sells.
So that's what they have to do now to make sure that the bucks are
But there
coming
are
in.
other ways of doing it.
Now, but here's the irony of the whole thing. If they're traveling into some conservative country where they don't allow that kind of thing, they behave themselves, you know.
Oh, yes, they do.
Because you know why? They know that they need the money. Especially these countries that you get quite a huge crowd coming. They know. And they chill. They behave themselves.
So if you can do it there, you could do it all the way.
Exactly.
Yeah, you could always do it. Because even now, lately, it's so difficult to get clean songs.
Well, boy.
From R&B to pop, everyone feels, okay, I'm going to curse in there, everything.
But you know the one that really is concerned for me, where you have artists who are supposedly glorifying God. And you have to look for the clean version. Remember recently there with
with Itana and
I couldn't believe it. I say Itana. I've never even played the song. Okay? And and there's so many of them. There's so many. The fellas are giving praises to the Most High and they drop in their curse words and stuff inside there. What's really going on?
But it also raises a bigger question, Andre. How do we balance artistic expression with social responsibility? And I think
when you say we, you're talking about we as radio announcers or the artists?
No, the artists. And that's something I think even when they're going to and you have to go back to their team as well, their handlers, so to speak. Again, sex sells, and that's what they keep putting out there. It's all about making money. But it's affecting our youth and other people out there in many, many different ways. People listen to the songs. I'm gonna just segue just a little bit as it relates to driving. Ever realize that for some individuals, I'm just asking this question, putting it out there, you might be listening to just say ballads, R&B, and you're cruising, and you decide, you know what, let me go and listen to some dancehall there, boy, or some rap and hip hop, and that comes on, and your foot is on gas, so you're speeding just a little bit, and you might not even realize it. The music you listen to impacts in a variety of ways, and sometimes we don't even realize it. The beat of it and all of that, we don't even realize what's happening. So I think the artists need to really go back to the drawing board and really there's so many things happening, and I think again they have a platform and they should use it wisely. A voice that reaches thousands, sometimes millions, and that voice can either uplift, tear down, or turn that individual listening to that song to a life of crime, drugs, or violence. So it's the artist's responsibility to do what's right, and also I think the we as radio announcers as well have a responsibility to our listeners, especially the youth of this country, to do right by them as well, and so to the government.
Alrighty, so let's get into the shout-outs.
Okay, so we're going to do, let's see, take the WhatsApp platform first. Okay. It's loading. Okay. One sec. Ooh, they're coming in really, really quickly. So I'm going to do, okay. Just a second. Good morning, Mr. Paul. Your program this morning was very informative, but did not have enough time to call. Can I have her name and number? I'm a community for the past 43 years. We have a union who does not care about us every time. Okay, the person left their number, so I'll pass it on to you after the show. Someone chimes in at 7 minutes after 10. Person says, "Good morning. Can I get a telephone number for Lotus, please?" Okay. Hey guys. Andre, drink ginger tea from now on. Lots of antioxidants in there. Hope that voice clears up.
Thank you.
Someone else chimed in, says, "It's a lovely morning, fresh, nice air. Kiki, good morning, my favorite people. Sitting at your feet, enjoying Rev-Up. My darling Tony Paul. Get well soon." That's from Barbara. Someone else said, one second. "Blessing everyone, Rev-Up family. Andre, is all okay? Your voice doesn't sound too good today.
Yeah.
Speedy recovery. Tony, Kiki, mwah. Have a blessed day." It's from Joanna. Hi, Joanna.
All right, Joanna. Thank you very
Kisses
much.
right back. Mwah, mwah. Someone else said, "Good morning, Andre Keena. I'd like to say kudos to Andre work ethic, coming to work despite his voice not being 100%. Feel better soon. Love from Sufra."
Thank you very much. Thank you. I've been doing it all my
All your
working
life,
career.
all your working career.
I don't take sick leave and this
Yeah.
sort of thing. Nah. Yeah.
Sometimes it happens, and sometimes you really do have to take it. That was yesterday. Someone says, "Keena, my cousin has lupus to a point where she couldn't even walk. She was on heavy steroids, but she went completely vegan and grows whatever she eats. She's doing so well now. Even her doctors were surprised. Steroids free, pain free." Yeah, I'm on steroids as well, and let me tell you, that's something on so and so on. Pleasant Wednesday to Andre and Lady Keena. Get well. Greetings to Tony. Andre, the bug is heading your way. Be careful. Shouting my friends from Schwurzel as usual. Mrs. Mary Alexander of Bellevue and Mrs. Linda Jabatis of Reunion. More love to you both from Tekla Auger of VA4. Someone says, "Good morning, guys. Bad things happen to everyone, but more happen to fellas with big gold chains around their neck." Whoo, sheesh. One person says, "One time Cartel was banned from performing in St. Lucia."
He was?
I could.
I don't
I'll
remember
Google
that
in
one.
a bit. Someone just said, "Wendy Martin, thanks. I feel elated. Thanks to Kada's Bakery." Okay, that was some other time. Oh, scroll down. She says, "Blessed love. Will side. Okay. Will side KK blessings. Andrea feel good. Andre, but they said Andrea, sorry. Andre feel good. Also TP get well soon. Y'all sharing the cold. Have a great, wonderful day." I don't think we are. Maybe we are. We don't even know.
Tony has a much
Tony
worse
doesn't
case.
have a cold.
Yeah,
That's not what he has,
much
actually.
worse. Mhm.
The first person to chime in on the platform, Facebook, Pius Snappy. Yeah, man. Good morning, Pius. How you doing? Happy Wednesday. He says, "Rev up." Sharon Peter says, "Good morning, folks." Dakota McGuire, Cleveland Seeley says, "Good morning with hearts." Good morning, Dakota. What's up?
Good morning.
Sharon Peter says, "Good morning, folks. Good morning, Rev Up." Melanie Destang says, "Pleasant Wednesday morning to one and all." Sharon Peter also chimed in. She came back. She says, "TP, speedy recovery."
Thank you.
Johnny Tom says, "Bless good morning to all." Barbara Zavi says, "Good morning to both of you. Have a lovely day. Bless love." Wested Duet says, "Good morning to all." Peacemaker says, "Good morning, beautiful Keena. How are you doing, my darling?" "I'm doing good. A lot better, actually." G, good morning to all who is watching and listening to our family station, Rev-Up St. Lucia. Love you all. Westy Duet says, "Andre's voice sounds different this morning." And he says, "Morning to you, Keena." Good morning, Westy Duet. Much love. Mwah. Lucita Jean-Pierre says, "Good morning, Andre and beautiful Keena. Hope you're feeling better. Not forgetting my buddy Jerome. Feel better soon. Happy Wednesday to all." Peacemaker says, "Mine is so easy. When I go to St. Mary's Hospital, they keep saying to me, 'You make my day. I don't like needles.'" Wested Wet Return chimed in and says, "Andre, if your arm veins are a problem, then the doctor should get the blood from where the blood flows easier."
Any idea? Any suggestions as to where
Your
that may be?
hand, most likely. Peacemaker says, "Keena eats..." What? Keena eats AI? I think that's a typo. Rocco St. Marie says, "It's hereditary. I'm not sure what he's referring to or she's referring to. Elvin J. Team Worker says, well, the usual eyes. Good morning, Elvin. Lucita Jean-Pierre returned, chimed in, says, Rev-Up family on Facebook and Radio Garden shed a live. Andre, Doctor in the House last night was very interesting. I'm urging more St. Lucians to listen to that show. COPD, very common in St. Lucia. Expensive too. People try to take care of yourself. West Didwet says, yes, Keena was always at the hospital with her mom. You are the right person to bring this issue to light.
Good.
Yeah, so the person remembers me from a little girl. So thank you for that. Lucita Javier says, Andre, you sound... yeah, he is coming down with something. Wested Wet says vegetarian diet is the best. Okay, Wested Wet, I'll try again. Patricia Benjamin says, morning Rev-Up family. Keena, please ask Andre Paul what happened to his voice.
Yeah, I don't know where it went to.
You look a little bit sleepy as well, just a little bit.
Should I leave?
Yeah.
Should I leave now?
Yeah, I can continue.
Okay, how about I?
Oh my God. Jeanette Henry says, she sounds like my kind of lifestyle, work and home. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Andre.
Hello there.
Jeanette.
Yes, so that's her vibe.
Yeah.
Just work and home. Work at home.
Yeah. Wested Wet says, Keena have been a wonderful person from the very day I knew her as a child. Don't worry, Kiki, you have done well. God will never let you down, he warned. Thank you so much.
Yes, he's going to give her her request, 120 years.
120 years. I so want to live to see 120 years. You have no idea.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I have no idea.
That's my one of my wishes for God, 120. Yeah. And he went on to say, he or she went on to say, we are all not righteous people, but there are good people, for our righteousness are like filthy rags.
We do good things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that we're good, but we do good things.
D. Francis Obey says, good morning to everyone. Joan Showery says, good morning, Andre, Keena, and everyone in the chat room. She went on to say, sending love to you.
Who's that?
Joan Showery.
Okay.
She sends kisses and hearts. Thank you, Joan. Send a kiss, naman.
Mwah.
She Chubb says, he cannot sing that song in TNT. I think she's referring to the God song with the... Yeah. So she says, me too, never. They won't care. Andre, you're right. I'm not sure what she was referring to.
But you know, to be honest with you,
or maybe Vice Cartel, yeah.
They haven't said anything about, it's in Guyana, they have a problem with the song, not Trinidad.
Not Trinidad.
So I'm not sure if he's allowed to sing it.
I don't think he will sing it. I'm sure right now the promoters are in conversations with Vibes Cartel on his team and telling him, hey, because of everything that's going on. Or maybe just Vibes Cartel on his own will decide to sing the best songs with that's not glorifying gang violence or anything of that sort.
But
maybe that's something that he will do.
Let me ask you, the amazing thing is that there are lots of people who are like Cartel. Okay, to some degree I had my own way when I was a lot younger. And the thing is, most of us who make it into the 60s and 70s, we after a while we chill, we change.
Yeah,
we change. Now can you imagine if everybody accepted what I felt I could do or I should do back in the day, and nobody pulled me up and said, no, this is not right, you shouldn't be doing this sort of thing, right? I mean, what would have happened? So we need people who are able to stand up for what is right.
What is right.
Okay?
I agree.
Who have a vision that, listen, we see where this is going already, and we are going to say, listen, we'll not allow you to go this far.
Right.
You understand?
I agree.
Because a lot of us, when we get into our 60s, we start to chill. You see Cartel there, all you see what he's doing there, nothing surprising if he makes it into his 60s, 70s. You see a completely different person. Look at you look at Patra and all these people, right? Who are what's the name? The one that we used to sing, Lady Saw.
Lady Saw. Yes.
These people have become, totally different.
Yeah.
Lady Saw become a Christian.
Yeah, she's
Patra
a pastor
now runs a restaurant or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't even hear anything about them anymore.
Don't hear anything much about them.
There's so many of them, so many examples.
So many examples. Clara Sammy chimed in. She says, good morning, River family. Praise God. I'm in the land of the living.
Indeed.
Have a wonderful Wednesday, you all.
I can't give the usual today. The voice 100%.
Try.
Say good morning to the
You tried.
It's not coming
You
out.
tried. That's the most important
It's
thing.
not coming
You
out.
tried. Sorry for laughing, but it's just how it sounded. Okay, I'll be a good girl. Do it again. Colisa Augustine says, "Good day, everyone. Blessed Wednesday to all." Lorena Meda, she says, "Kiki and Andre, blessed love to you guys. Tony,
You as
special
well, Lorena.
good morning. Andre, please, when you get home, get garlic, honey, crush it together and chew it and swallow. Love you guys. Kisses to you both." Tony, garlic,
so
honey,
raw garlic.
right? Chew it, and you know what next to do, right?
I hear you.
Veronica Bryan says, "Blessed Wednesday to all listening from London." Hi,
Okay.
Veronica. I think that's first.
Okay,
Yeah,
Veronica,
her
if it's the first time,
listening.
welcome
Well,
aboard.
maybe she was listening before, but that's her first time actually sending us a message. Lorena Meda says, "I guarantee you, if you do that tomorrow, you will feel better." Clara Sammy chimed in. She says, "It's okay, Andre. Thanks for the love because you tried."
Yes, exactly, exactly. I hope I get an opportunity to meet her one of these days.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
You heard Clara,
Clara
right?
Sammy.
You know, she might bring it down.
I see her husband. I see him fairly often. Fairly often.
Oh, so you've never met her?
No.
Oh, okay. Hopefully soon. Elsa Hippolyte is the last one to chime in. She says, "Greetings to Andre, Keena, and all in the chat room. Not forgetting Tony. Have an awesome day."
I want to thank you all for remembering Brother Tone.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all that love coming to Tony will make him feel better soon. He's going to be back here, hopefully, maybe by even this weekend, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
most definitely.
Let's see how things go.
We miss him. We miss him. I mean, him being in studio with us and
Yeah,
adding to
yeah.
the different
Definitely.
dynamics right here. It makes it fun and it's really, really engaging. So him not being in studio feels like we have a limb that's we're
That's
missing
right,
a
yes,
limb,
true.
right? So that's what it feels like. So Tones, I know you're listening. Sending you love, sending you kisses as well. Mwah. Yeah. So that's the last comment on the Facebook platform, Andre.
Okay, well, just before we end, just one final thing. There's a big experiment taking place in, I think, in Dakota. Let me make sure I have it right. Yes, South Dakota, sorry. Right? You have
What's
North
that
Dakota,
about?
South Dakota. A huge experiment. And interestingly, it's taking place underground. These scientists, I think about 1,000. Let me see if I have the exact number here. How many scientists? 1,400 scientists from 35 different countries getting together. Now, this experiment, I'll explain in just a moment, is already being conducted in Japan. So the Japanese scientists are already working on this thing. The origin of life. How did the universe come
Really?
into being? Now, I really thought that everybody had accepted the Big Bang Theory. I remember there was an explosion and everything just went into place, right? So apparently, maybe they're not quite satisfied with that. But what I find interesting is that they're having this experiment under the ground somewhere. I saw it last night on the BBC, this massive, massive, massive place. You look like a dwarf inside there. This massive place and have all this equipment and everything there.
Underground?
The underground. So they're studying this thing as to how the galaxies came together and the universe and the planets and the stars and the this and that and the other. Because imagine, folks, up to now, this remains a mystery. Yeah, that's what they're saying now. The origins of the universe, how it all came together, remains a mystery. And remember, we've been hearing about the Big Bang. We've been hearing
about the
for
Big Bang.
eons. But apparently, they know that there's something missing there. It can't just be a Big Bang. Now, the question is, when they finish with the experiments, what will they...
You think they'll be honest with us?
I know for sure, I don't think God will be mentioned in that at all. I don't think so. I doubt it. Yeah. It's just like you always see these still photos of supposedly UFOs. You ever watch that? It's always in black and white.
Yeah.
In this age of smartphones, high resolution cameras and so on, now you turn to all how you see a UFO is always in black and white.
I don't think scientists, no matter how they try, is going to find out how the world came to being. I
hope they do, actually.
You think they do?
I hope they do.
What we were descendants of who exactly?
What do you mean by descendants of who? What do you mean?
No, but what are they going to find when they go searching?
Oh, that's what
for
you're
it?
saying. Oh, that's what you're saying.
What are they going to find? It's right there. It's been said. God. How are they going to find out again?
Well, you know, science doesn't work like that.
Well, I know it doesn't work
Yeah.
like that, but I'd love to know what they come up with. Or maybe when they go deep into the universe, God comes somewhere and says, hey, this is me. Stop doing what you're doing right now. Enough. They hear that voice loud and clear. That's all you're going to find. I don't know. They've tried several times, but again, you know, scientists, they never give up.
So for now, it remains a mystery
It
as to
remains a
how
mystery.
all of this was put together. It's a mystery. Okay, Keena, so what do you have coming up on your show today?
On the show today, the Wanted Wonder, you already know what that is, and you love it. Actually, I'm going to do one of your Wanted Wonders from yesterday.
And I heard you
I'm gonna
playing
do
a
that
couple
tomorrow,
songs yesterday.
And I did play them
Yes,
yesterday.
I heard you.
Thank you so much for... There was one that I heard, two that I played. It's my first time listening to them.
The Honey Come Back?
Honey
one
Come
of them?
Back. Honey Come Back, and this other one by, what's his
Bobby
name?
Goes Bro?
Yes,
Glenn-
it was for Tony, right? The one
The
you
Honey?
requested
Honey?
for Tony, yeah.
There's Honey Come Back and there's also Honey.
Well, Honey Come Back, yeah.
Yes.
When I played it, I was like...
I heard you.
Yeah.
I heard you for
It's my
Tone
first
Tone.
time, yeah, for Tone Tone.
Yeah.
So it was my first time listening. It's a really nice song, actually.
It's a beautiful song. I was a
Yeah.
young boy, when that song was popular. I remember that well.
Never heard it before.
Yeah, man. And
Never, ever
so
heard
you
it.
must play the Bobby Goals Bro.
I think I did.
Yeah, Honey. And boy, listen, that song, I tell you, my
No, I
son's,
didn't, actually. I didn't. No,
my son's
I
mother, every time she hears it, she cries.
didn't. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's-
You
yeah.
did say, okay.
You must try listening. You must try playing it.
I will.
It's called Honey by Bobby Goldsboro. And he has another one called With Pen in Hand. That was another deep one again, because the story is about a divorce, apparently. And he's reminding her of all the things that are going to be, that will change, right? If she signs her name on that document saying it's over. He tries everything, even the son that they have together, right? And he said, can you teach him how to fly a kite and how to fish and things like that?
Oh,
That song is something
I'll
else.
definitely play it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely play it today.
Yeah.
And I will...
With Pen in Hand
With
by
Pen in Hand.
Bobby Goldsboro.
Goldsboro.
And he also has something
play it
called
today.
Honey,
Just put it-
Bobby Goldsboro.
Yeah.
I'm the real old school giant, you know.
You might as well try to search it, put it up there for me. So when I come, it'll be my first one that I play to start off my show. So that'll be a good thing. So we have the Wanted Wonder coming at 12:15, the riddle of the day at 12:45, the hit of the day at 12:45. Rev-Up St. Lucia News with Andre Paul at 1 p.m. And people actually really love the Rev-Up St. Lucia News as well. And on Drive Safe, Live Safe today, I'm focusing on buckling up and why it's important to buckle up when you get into that vehicle. Because a lot of times we don't really think about it, but it is important, and it can as well save lives. I'm exploring a new government initiative designed to protect our agricultural sector from the growing risk of climate change and hurricanes. So that's on the cards as well. St. Lucia girls preparing to compete in the Caribbean Football Under 14 Challenge Series. That's also on the cards as well. And Trinidad and Tobago Police, they're improving access to justice for victims of crime with a one-door policy. So that, whatever is happening in entertainment and so much more still on the way on the Rev-Up Center from 11 to 3 p.m.
Alrighty, well, folks, Toenail is not with us today, so we have Rev Up the Homegrown this evening. I'll be coming back here to ensure
yeah, nice.
I host that show, and I have Orion as my special guest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Yes.
Good choice, actually.
He's an interesting
yeah.
artist.
Very.
Why do I say that? Because he's like a hustler. He has all his talent, right? And he's also a hustler, meaning he works really, really hard.
Really
He's
hard.
on the road selling his sea moss and stuff.
moss
A little entrepreneur like that, you know.
Yes, he has been.
An entrepreneur who's there. But if you know, maybe if he was in the States, maybe he could really become a real millionaire from this thing. But you know how it is in St. Lucia already. It's today you sell,
I
tomorrow you
think
sell.
eventually he's come a long way, and he speaks of it as well. And he has a song that he released recently, which is "Follow You," that I really love.
Yes.
And he has some songs that he really speaks, and he gives thanks to God as well. And that's what I love about him. And he's not afraid to share his truth, and he's never afraid to share his story. And one that is very, very humble. So I will definitely listen out for that interview as well.
So we should be starting the interview about 6:15, somewhere around there. I want to give him a good half hour, because I think he has a story. He has a story to tell.
He does have a story, yes.
Okay, so those of you on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X, thank you so much for for viewing. We certainly do appreciate that. Those of you listening on FM, 97.1 FM, also those of you online. Thank you so much, for the company. We really do appreciate that. Just hang in there. Tones will be back, God willing. He'll be back. He'll be back.
Tony, Paul.
So Tony, yeah, we all miss you. We all miss you. Yeah. All right. So, Keena, have yourself a good one.
Thank you, Andre.
All right. Don't forget Zen the DJ from 3 o'clock this afternoon. See that? Zen was down last week. Zen was down for almost 2 weeks.
Yes.
That's right. And then now Tony's and
down.
to a lesser degree, yours truly.
Just
and then you always down.
Pat Rice, I'm always down, but I'm like Superman with kryptonite.
But not out.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, down but not out.
Yeah, I'm down but not out. I'm like cricket.
Okay. So do enjoy the rest of the day, folks.
Yes.
Thank you, Andre Paul. Saying so long. Bye-bye.
The Lamprey Carnival Committee and Samfire Events presents Dancing with the Stars Country and Bucket Time Party happening on Friday, May 23rd from 8 p.m. on the Lamprey Basketball Court. Admission